WMSE's Local Live is supported by Club Garibaldi. Located at 2501 South Superior Street in Bayview. Open 7 days a week, Club Garibaldi serves burgers, hot wings, and more, and features live music weekly. For more information and Club Garibaldi's live music events, visit clubgaribaldi.com.
Thanks as always to Club Garibaldi for helping us keep this program alive. And now we will send it out to the Bob and Genie Friedman live performance studio. Here is Pleasure Thief.
Right through the serpent's pain. Again and again and again and again. In my life, my life, my life, my life. Again and again and again and again. In my life, my life, my life, my life. 'Cause I'm feeling the effects of a weak, vexed vessel. If someone doesn't punch me in the face first, I will. Again and again and again and again. In my life, my life, my life, my life. sea.
Got nothing to do with love.
burning for what you don't know. Maybe it's in the way you look at me. Burning for it real slow. It's in between your legs, darling. And I pray to be the hands that save. And I'll say that it's got nothing to do with me. And you are so pure and terrifying. And I want to be your everything. Everything is lonely, so swear to God the blood of Christ can save you if you're only getting drunk. Maybe it's got nothing to do with love. God is a heart on fire and a blood drop on your tongue. And is it more than sex when you're burning up for it? Or is it a fire holy in the shape of reality? And is it God that we search for? And is it love that keeps us quiet? Are you hurting 'cause you want more? Are you willing to try it? Maybe we can have it all. If we surrender, we succumb. When you say my name, who do you call? Maybe we can love everyone. Is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one.
Yo, what's going on? This is the Palacia from Shabazz Palaces, and you're listening to WMSE. You know what it is.
I'm having my cake and I'm eating.
All right, we're back in the studio with Pleasure Thief.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hi. Thanks.
It was a wonderful set. We enjoyed it very much. So to start out, I was just wondering if you remember how the concept of Pleasure Thief came to you. Like, was that something that you had the concept and then you made the music, or was it? Did you have the music and you formed a concept around it afterwards?
Ooh, I don't remember, but I can talk about what it is now.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that I've been playing music since I was real young, and it's taken a lot of time to get to this place where I feel like I'm able to express just for the sake of raw expression rather than like needing a purpose, which not to go there, but like under capitalism, it tends to take away any any ability we have to just create for the sake of creating. So everything ends up having to be based on value and worth and like product. So for a long time, I've had to remove those blockages from the way that I create, and also just personal things around like hating the way that I sound, like wanting to make music but not knowing how to create the things that I was thinking of or feeling. And Pleasure Thief was the first time, because I played like acoustic singer-songwriter stuff when I was in high school and younger, but Pleasure Thief was the first time that I felt like I was able to really, I was like tapping into this stream that felt pretty like uniquely and like very strongly me. Mm-hmm. And I think you can, if you care to look in the lyrics or anything like that, which I have up on Bandcamp, you can kind of see. And if you know me, you're like, okay, yeah, she like kind of talks about that stuff all the time anyway. And then as far as like the name, I go back and forth about what it can mean. I mean, it sounds pretty like a little like dominatrix-y, but it's not really that. Like, I know what love is, you know, but but I think it's more along the lines of, I just made shirts for it, and a quote on the back says, loving pleasure is easy, but loving pain is truth. And I think that's more of what it's about, how when you take away pleasure or take away things that feel good, like what are you left with? Mm-hmm. What is the thing that you're being informed about? So then pain, also not something that's like not necessarily anguish, but sometimes anguish, those are like just as powerful as pleasure, or just as like can be learned to be just as powerful teachers as something like pleasure is. Yeah.
I kind of wondered, because Pleasure Thief, you can look at it one way as like you're thieving it from someone specifically, or you can just think of it as like, well, you're stealing it for yourself, not necessarily from someone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and like those are fun to think about too. Like I think that is an aspect that I sometimes will embody, but on a deeper level, I think it's lessons learned from difficulty.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So were there songs from like the folk days or anything like that sort of bled into the Pleasure Thief thing, or did you like really start over completely from scratch when you started this type of music?
Started over completely from scratch, and okay. I think the first one I didn't play it, but the first one I wrote just came out. It was like really easy, and also I think it was moving more into electronic stuff, because I got really sick of guitar, really really sick of it, because I am not trained in like musically trained at all. I took piano lessons, but I don't remember anything, so I don't know how to read notes. I don't really know chords, so it felt really limiting. And then I had a friend that showed me how to use GarageBand on my computer, and I was like, oh wow, there's so many things I could do, and it allowed me allowed me a lot more space to explore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was going to ask you, when you started writing, or, you know, you're exploring instruments a little bit, like guitar and keys, but is there something besides GarageBand that you kind of go to write the songs, or do you rely on, like, you know, what do you do to start composing? What's your process?
Ooh, I think lyrics come first, so it'll definitely be like a phrase or something like that. I consider that my strongest suit is the writing. I think maybe then the voice, and then like the musicianship, because I don't really know what I'm doing, but there's value in that too. You know, like the intuitive musician versus the classically trained one. They're both like really good at what they do, but in very different ways. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think, the lyrics definitely come first. And it's hard because if writing doesn't come frequently, and it's because there's a little bit of a perfectionist tendency, but if I don't like what I'm saying, then I just won't go with it.
Okay.
Not saying like I have all hits. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just like if what I'm talking about seems really cheesy to me, then I can't keep going with it. Yeah. So it either comes like lightning or not at all.
Okay. I feel like that's pretty typical of most composers. Like either it's going to be easy and you know what you want to say, or you're going to kind of chip away at it a little bit.
Right.
Not really get to what you really want to.
Yeah. And in the history of writing songs, it either happens in like a half hour, like really quickly. And if it doesn't, then I know, and there's more of a struggle, then I know it's something I should just leave alone.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I guess I want to know, like, since, we're talking about sounds and sonic things a little bit, do you explore different sounds, or do you listen to producers or other musicians and kind of pick out sounds that you like? Like, for example, like we were talking about Fever Ray for a second there. Like, do you ever like listen to certain musicians like, oh, I love that synth sound, or oh, I love that like electronic drum beat, or do you kind of school yourself through listening to things?
Yeah, that happens a lot. And Fever Ray is one of them, like The Knife too. They have a lot of really cool, weird sounds. Mm-hmm. So I definitely get inspiration from listening to other composers and producers, either like contemporary or older, like the like Cocteau Twins. Their stuff, like their sounds are really, really awesome. But also I don't consider myself as much of a musician as these other like performer or writer or something. It's hard for me to like hear it and then be like, but how do I do that? Yeah. So my skills don't really lie there, but I can like fumble towards it and then maybe find something that's different but works too.
Yeah, so using GarageBand as your palette, kind of.
Right. And I mean, I use live instruments too. I just use that as like the platform.
Okay.
And what about, because visual presentation, at least like when you're performing in a club, is a huge part of your performance.
Right.
Like, do you have some artists that you take inspiration from in terms of the visual presentation? Or is that kind of something you've just slowly developed out of your own brain?
Yeah, I think it was a slow development based on wanting the stage to become an altar and then wanting to be a channel. Mm-hmm. So that's the goal for me.
Okay.
Every time I perform. And yeah, so it's tricky to do something like this on the radio where you can't see me, because then I'm like, oh my gosh, they can only hear me. And I'm like, oh, I probably sound horrible. All these like stupid self-doubt things. But still, like, I'm still performing. Like, I'm still doing the movements. So it's like, it's there. The energy is there, even if you can't see it.
Still channeling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Of course. It goes out over the airwaves, I'm sure.
As a musician, too, we were talking a little bit about lyrics and writing. Do you have any literary inspiration, any authors that you keep returning to as, a personal thing? All of us who read and love books or poetry or whatever return to the same authors. It's like a well for inspiration, creative inspiration. So I was wondering if you have any writers that you really, really resonate with.
Yeah, I really love Walt Whitman because he is like a gay wizard, and that's how I feel sometimes. And so he's been a huge influence on me. The way that he, a lot of his writing is really like celebratory, and it is appreciative of humanity, but also infuses a spiritual aspect to the things that he's saying, and by doing that, but by focusing on the humanity of, or just by focusing on humanity, it then shows you that like you don't need to be seeking God or seeking something outside of yourself, because like the joy and the experience, the excitement, all of these like emotions are being human. Like that's what being human is about. So I really, really like him a lot. And then like Rumi and Hafiz. So a lot of these like spiritual poets that the writing comes off as being like love poems, but they're all love poems to like divine or God or source or all, whatever you want to call it. And I really like that, because a lot of my songs that end up being sounding like love songs are either like a love song to myself, which sounds very selfish, but also like Walt Whitman, because he has the Song of Myself. But what I mean is that it's like either me talking to myself, or it's me yearning for this like other, which we use the form of a relationship to like explore.
Sure. Oh.
And what else? And like Tolkien, you know.
Yeah.
Big like sci-fi fantasy fan, you know.
Well, you have dressed up as like Gandalf before, right?
Yeah. My vanity plates say wizard. So I was going to have them say Gandalf, but I was like, that's way too specific. Don't do that.
Well, we should get you back out to do your second set for us.
Cool, yeah. And this will just be acoustic guitar, actually.
Oh, okay.
Different.
Before we send you out, where can people find your music?
Sure. Pleasure Thief at Bandcamp, and then I also have a SoundCloud.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, we'll talk to you in a little bit after your second set. And we will be right back with some more live music. Stay tuned.
My lips are wet and my heart is beating hard, or do I need a beard to be a god? Flesh on fire and a heart on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Sink deep and drink deeper, soft pink and a lightning purr. Hungry for the body, thirsty for the soul. Let us fill our skin with blood and bone. Our hearts locked in a chest, but still we quest for the new. I want you. I want you. You of 1,000 or more fingers and toes. When your heart opens up, my groin screams and grows. When your heart opens up, my groin screams and grows. So do me this one thing. Just do me this one thing. When your mask cracks from the threads you send that don't come back, think of me, darling, infinite and unstintine. Think of me, darling, infinite and unstintine. And tell me, what do I do with the body battle? Heart, mind, and soul. Cutthroat to the ego, watch my head roll. Because roses fall from my eyelids, the tainting squalor of something I did, and black heart shiver. So shake off this dirt skin, Lord, let me know if it's working. Unnerved by this new climate, I'm flirting with sin and a gold thread. Or do I wake or do I sleep? The taste is taking the best of me. It takes a lot of fresh blood to keep the body clean. Heart strung by your tongue and my soul around my feet. Because, sing along now, my friends are so depressed. I can feel the question of your loneliness. Confide, 'cause I'll be on your side. You know I will. Here's the void. Here's my heart. Notice my voice gets shaky when the aching starts. Here's the jump. Here's where I give my whole self up. All knotted and bruised in thoughts of you. It's been a long way here, and I'm no longer scared to take it slow, 'cause I know, yeah, I know that the feeling of pain is the movement of skin shed. So my suffering is merciful as you dance in my head. And blood, all of your benediction is grown from the mud. The lotus is flowered on the foot of God. Oh, dust of your sweet punishment, and blood, love's humiliation. Uncover me, or I sink, I sink, I sink. Tell a flight of my sweetheart's love comes rushing in, and my roots stretch out. Comes rushing in, and my roots stretch out.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside.
All right, we're at that magical time of the program. This is your song, and Kat, what did you choose as a song that inspires you or that influenced you?
So I chose a song by Cocteau Twins off of their 86 album Victoria Land. It's called The Thinner the Air, and the whole album is really amazing. And this song in particular has always been really haunting and emotional for me, and most of what Cocteau Twins does. And so Liz Fraser's voice, there's just something really ethereal and otherworldly about it. And with this particular track, and same with the album, they do a really good job of painting a really vivid picture. So it's very like sensational as far as and like evocative. So there's feeling, there's like colors, there's emotions, but without being without like having that many words. It's also like pretty much percussionless, which is really exciting. So as far as something that is like moody and atmospheric and emotional, it's like right up my alley.
All right. Well, I'm not very overly familiar with Cocteau Twins, so maybe this will give me something to dive into for the future. I'm excited to hear this. So the track is called The Thinner the Air, and that's the final track on Victoria Land. We're going to give it a spin here.
Kicked out the moss, well, a few of the verses, well, they've got me quite cross.
All right, we just heard The Thinner the Air by Cocteau Twins, and that was Kat's pick for This Is Your Song this week. That was a really cool song. Thanks for bringing that to my attention.
Oh, my pleasure.
I've heard the band before, but yeah, I just have never really delved into their catalog. So
yeah, that whole album is good for like getting like real cozy, you know, if it's like a snowy day or a rainy day, that like, you know, any sort of extreme weather. It's good to listen to it.
Good to know.
Okay. Can you tell people a little bit about where to find your music, your social media pages, and also I know you have a show at Cactus Club coming up really soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's on the 31st. Super excited about that. I'm also playing a girls rock benefit on the 11th at the Public House, I believe. And so otherwise, Pleasure Thief at pleasurethief.bandcamp.com. Then SoundCloud is also Pleasure Thief. What else did you say?
Oh, your show.
The show, yeah.
Yeah, the show. Like, I know you're playing Cactus with the Yamantaka Sonic Titan.
Yeah,
which is really
right.
cool.
I'm really excited about that one. So that'll be the 31st. And then that's it for shows for now, I think.
Cool.
Okay.
Exciting.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much for talking with us and for playing for us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in to tonight's edition of Local Live on WMSE. Local Live is a production of WMSE Radio, recorded and broadcast live from the Bob and Genie Friedman Live Performance Studio on the downtown campus of the Milwaukee School of Engineering. And Local Live is produced by Erin and Cal Roach and engineered by Billy Cicerelli. Video by Moleskin Productions. Be on the lookout for that. Hospitality for Local Live artists provided by Cedar Tooth Pizza, who can be found online at cedarteeth.com. Anodyne Coffee, who can be found online at anodynecoffee.com. And by Sprecher Brewing Company, more info at spreckerbrewery.com. And for upcoming guests and archives of past Local Live performances, visit WMSE.org. Tune in again next Tuesday or come down to Club Garibaldi's for our Local Live, a Club Garibaldi series that's going down March 6th. That's next week already. We've got Dead Horses playing. They've got a new album coming out.
Very excited for that new album and that show. They're always great live.
Oh, yeah. And they're normally a duo lately, but I think they're going to have a couple extra members for this special event.
Excellent. Yeah. We'll look forward to that. Hope to see you all down there, or if not, of course, tune in at your local station or online, of course. And that's going to do it for us. We'll see you next week. Stay tuned for Midnight Radio.